Thank you for tuning into Truth Broadcast Network and welcome to the Nightly News. This newscast consists of late-breaking information created by the world's truth activists which lay bare the deceptions being perpetrated by the New World Order. The work of these activists appearing on the Truth Broadcast Network should not be construed as an endorsement of them or their other work. That said, these videos were specifically chosen by the network and we thank the tireless activists for producing them. During this broadcast it is especially important to see the evidence being presented, so try to watch the nightly news at www.truthbroadcastnetwork.com.
Review time, Pac. And I want y'all to see this before they try to take it down. Bianca the Cock, aka Tupac, supposedly shot 5 times. This girl right here is an actor. Oh yeah, not only can you see from the way she's acting, but I got proof she's an actor. This is the same stuff that happened with Sandy Hook. And I'm going to show it to you before they try to take it down. Look at her name. Okay, here she is. Acting. In the drama club. I don't know how she got into it. There go her name. There she go right there. You can click on the video link in the description box. Here she go again. Here's her old channel. I don't care to talk to these people, so don't say I'm trying to harass them. I'm just exposing these jokers for the liars that they are. You see this? Here she is in the interview, of course. Here she is with her fake crying. Here she is thinking she can act. And it's important to understand this why. Because you got guys like Kevin Mark, who participated in the Sandy Hook hoax, and he was willing to do anything to advance his acting career. Is they think they can get away with it. They think they can pull it off because they actually believe they're good actors.
We talked about metadata in this group. We talked about metadata with Snowden. He makes a larger point here about the information haystack and about why, in his view, big intelligence gathering doesn't work. I'll play for you now that exchange. I really meant to.
I take the threat of terrorism seriously, and I think we all do. And I think it's really disingenuous for the government to invoke and sort of scandalize our memories, to sort of exploit the national trauma that we all suffered together and worked so hard to come through, to justify programs that have never been shown to keep us safe, but cost us liberties and freedoms that we don't need to give up, and our Constitution says we should not give up.
But you can see how it happened. Guys with box cutters spent $200 using our own aviation system to take down our own buildings and smash into the Pentagon in a field in Pennsylvania. What are we going to do? It's a non-traditional enemy. The expression is an enemy we can't see. What are we going to do?
You know, and this is a key question that the 9/11 Commission considered. And what they found in the postmortem, when they looked at all of the classified intelligence from all of the different intelligence agencies, they found that we had all of the information we needed as an intelligence community, as a classified sector, as the national defense of the United States, to detect this plot. We actually had records of the phone calls from the United States and out. The CIA knew who these guys were. The problem was not that we weren't collecting information. It wasn't that we didn't have enough dots. It wasn't that we didn't have a haystack. It was that we did not understand the haystack that we have. The problem with mass surveillance is that we're piling more hay on a haystack we already don't understand. And this is the haystack of the human lives of every American citizen in our country. If these programs aren't keeping us safe, and they're making us miss connections, vital connections, on information we already have, if we're taking resources away from traditional methods of investigation, from law enforcement operations that we know work, if we're missing things like the Boston Marathon bombings, where all of these mass surveillance systems, every domestic dragnet in the world didn't reveal guys that the Russian intelligence service told us about by name. Is that really the best way to protect our country? Or are we trying to throw money at a magic solution that's actually not just costing us our safety, but our rights and our way of life?
Hello, thank you for watching Critical Report. So Gardasil has been recalled. If you received the Gardasil shot from August 2013 through October 2013, the vials that were used may have been contaminated, and we're seeing this far too often that these vaccines are contaminated. But, shouldn't it have been recalled because it's dangerous? Shouldn't have been recalled because it causes things like sterility because it contains polysorbate 80, or the fact that it contains things like sodium chlorate, or the fact that it causes things like autoimmune diseases? Shouldn't that be the reason? Not because it was contaminated with possible glass particles? I mean, shouldn't that be the reason? It's a fucking joke that this is even allowed to be on the shelves, let alone, being recalled for something as simple as possible glass in the vials. How insane have we become that we would allow something that causes cancer, that causes sterility, that causes autoimmune diseases, that causes death, that's allowed to be, to remain on the shelves and to be given. But if it has something simple like glass particles that could, cause redness or swelling, I just don't understand. And what's even more scary is people will continue to defend the product. It will continue to defend the product and claim that it works. Like less than 1% of women get cervical cancer, but to put something in your body that actually causes cancer, to combat cancer, I just don't even get it. I don't get it. It makes me crazy that, people cannot wake up to this. I'll put the link below so you can see the lot numbers that were recalled. And, I'll also put old videos that I've done in the past so I'm not, saying the same things over and over again. You can go back and watch them. Discusses the HPV vaccinations, the ingredients, statistics, things like that. I'll go ahead and put those down below so you can check them out. What bothers me is most people don't even know that the FDA never independently researches the products they approve. They're just going to, that's good, go ahead. Oh, rat poison? Go ahead, sell that, great. I mean, they don't even approve, they don't even independently research these things, and yet they want to tell you that it's okay to put in your body. Wow. Another thing most people don't have a clue about is that vaccine makers are not required to list every single ingredient that is put in a vaccine. They are only required to put in what the vaccine maker, deems the main ingredients. So you really have no idea what exactly you're putting in your body and your children's bodies. That doesn't bother you? Because it's good for the herd. It's good for the herd. It's good for the herd, so we need to get it. Wow. The herd. You treating yourselves like cattle. Wow. Folks, please start researching and checking these things out. A lot of parents right now are with teenage daughters and sons are really in pain because what they allowed to be injected into their child, and their child is now suffering horribly because of this vaccine and other vaccines. But don't be one of them. Don't be one of them. Go out and research. It's really easy to do. It's really easy to go out and find independent researchers who have dissected these vaccines, have researched them, have said what the side effects are not paid by the government, are not paid by the vaccine makers, they're not paid by the establishment to tell you that these things are good for you when they're not. They're independent researchers that have nothing to gain or lose from these vaccines, from these studies. Please go and research before you do anything that harms your children by way of the needle. Please, I beg you. Okay, folks. I'm going to put those links below for you to check out. Follow me on Twitter at Political Report, and feel free to share. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Thank you for tuning into Truth Broadcast Network and welcome to the Nightly News. During this broadcast, it is especially important to see the evidence being presented, so try to watch the Nightly News at www.truthbroadcastnetwork.com.
And we got some jokers getting mad. Oh yeah, you just gonna have to get mad, huh? Go ahead, throw a chair or something. I already know, you get the little fake jokers coming out. Hey, this guy right here came to my channel, snapping on me. Of course, I deleted him and blocked him, but then I go to his little channel and he talking about this guy right here. Santa Claus, fake joker. He said, this guy's speech made me nearly cry, dude. He's right. You guys have huge control issue in America. You know how them trolls be writing. They don't spell right because they want you to call them out. See, they like attention. I don't call them out or anything. I just delete them and block them. But yeah, he's making it seem like people are really buying this. What am I talking about? Well, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't been caught up, this 24 hours after his kid's supposed to be dead.
You don't
politicizing the event.
think it'll happen to your child?
What?
Until it does.
Mm-hmm. You know, that sound like this right here. Who is doing something like this? Now is the time. Can you read that? Now it's time. It's Sandy Hook. Fake jokers. They were passing this out to people with the little photos that's so pathetic. Trying to make people sad. Feel sorry for them. And this is what he doing. Just to push gun control.
Chris was a really great kid.
Chris was a really great kid. Gun control, gun control, gun control.
Ask anyone who knew him.
Pretty much what he said.
His death has left our family lost and broken.
Can't tell where your tears at.
Why
huh?
did Chris die?
Why?
Chris died because of craven, irresponsible politicians and the NRA.
Really?
They talk about gun rights.
Here we go. Look.
What about Chris's right to live?
So fake and scripted. Just watch it.
When will this insanity stop?
When you stop talking, I said it before.
When will enough people say, stop this madness?
Stupid.
We don't have to live like this.
So
too many have died. We should say to ourselves, not one more. Thank you. That's it.
So fake. So fake. Now watch this. This is what they want
anger. You can hear the anger
Uh-huh.
and the grief
Uh-huh.
of this man talking about Christopher Martinez slamming the politicians.
Probably the only one in the world buying this crap.
Slamming the NRA,
The news
saying,
reporter.
what about Chris's right to live? He's referring to people who support gun rights. He says, well, what about this young man's right to live? This is the first victim that we are hearing of. You can see
How fake
see
he
that
is,
he
yeah.
is just overwhelmed by grief. He says, Chris was a really great kid. Ask anyone. I'm here with Jeff Gardier, a clinical psychologist. You know, I'll tell you, looking at the pain
From one of the experts.
that this has caused these families, that is just wrenching.
Wrenching.
This is
You know she want to say gut wrenching. They say that every time.
what the families are now dealing
That's right.
with. This is what this
Yeah,
madman
right.
wanted.
And it always
Hearing from Turtle Man here.
comes back to that, doesn't it?
Eh, no, it
havoc
doesn't.
that has been wreaked out there, the pain that has been put out there, which is what...
Shut up. You ain't saying nothing. They always trying to bring these experts. Don't listen to none of this crap. Here she go.
We are now learning the gunman left behind not only YouTube videos, he also left behind a 140-page written manifesto that CNN
That you ain't supposed to read. It's for these fake news jokers to read and then tell you about the shooter, because they're going to be the experts on him now.
has obtained a copy of. This manifesto was originally sent to one of our affiliates,
Really?
KEYT TV. It's titled My Twisted World, the story of Elliot Rodger.
Joke.
And he says this is a story, a dark story of sadness, anger, and hatred. I'm joined now by Tracy Lehrer, who's on the phone from our affiliate KEYT. You reportedly, your station received this manifesto from Elliot Rodger. Tell me some of the
Listen, they received it from Elliot Rodger. He sent it to him, she's saying.
details.
It came from an acquaintance who had something to do with bodybuilding online.
An acquaintance who has something to do with bodybuilding.
And
What
it
the
was
heck?
brought to our attention early.
Bodybuilding
And we
friend?
have made printed copies, and I'm combing through it right now.
Can we
And
haven't
you
heard
mentioned
from
the
him?
title, My Twisted World. It is a very well written, like someone who knew punctuation and wrote it out. But it starts with every age and every message. Getting
Every
back
page,
to zero.
waste
When
of
he gets-
time, every age.
Like a lot of kids, he's talking about puberty and masturbation, but also he starts talking about being unpopular. And he saw his father, who
Pretty
was
much the rest of what she's saying here is straight up garbage. Make you go through the ups and downs of emotions, make you feel mad, make you feel a little sad, then make you feel a little bit sorry for him. No. Look who the same person. This thing load up, there she go. It's the same person who agreed with the guy saying the NRA is the reason why he's dead and everybody else is dead, even though we know it's fake. Just showing you that these people, they push the agenda.
What do I mean when I say that these things are hoaxes or psyops or psychological operations? Does it mean that everyone who is involved in the alleged event knows that it is not real or that it is not what it is reported to actually be? And, you know, it's interesting because Anthony Anatello actually covered an event where remember the teacher from Sandy Hook that allegedly saved her classroom full of students? She was giving some sort of speech, or she was a speaker at a school, and Anthony went to check it out because I don't know how close it was to his area, but they never do anything like that around here. So he went and checked that out, and the woman actually had a bodyguard, like, shadowing her the entire time, right on top of her. Private security. This woman is allegedly a national hero for saving a child, a classroom full of children, and she's got private security on her the whole time. Wouldn't take his eyes off her, wouldn't step more than 15 feet away. And she's a national hero. What's she need a private security for? Now, the answer to that question should really bring this point home in your mind. And it is because she, as a person who was involved in this psychological operations, actually believes that it was real. You may remember an incident in one of these psychological operations where a child was told to go back into the room where there were allegedly dead bodies. This is going to be hard to break down and make understandable. But you have personnel involved who are managing the psychological operation, and they have to maintain it within the parameters of the script. And part of the reason for this is so that some of the people who are involved in the psychological operation actually believe that it was real. These people are not like me. These people are not like many of you. They don't go Google Sandy Hook hoax. They don't even put Sandy Hook in YouTube and wait and see what pops up, which, by the way, is Sandy Hook hoax. And especially if they were there that day, they think, well, I was there. I saw what happened. Why would I ever look anything up on Google or YouTube? Deceiving the teacher was an important part of the operation, because the best liars are those who believe their own lies. Remember how right after that event, immediately following that event, she was on, what was it, ABC? I don't even know. But she was on one of the media outlets being interviewed about how she saved her classroom full of students. So it's not just that she was there and she was deceived into believing that it was real, that it actually happened, but then she was foisted into the public limelight as a hero. She thinks it was real. She doesn't know that it was a hoax. She doesn't know that it was staged, and that's why she has private security, so that nobody can go up to her and tell her. I guarantee you her home internet is very censored. Now, what is a person like that going to do in the future if they do eventually figure out it was fake, it was staged, or if they start wondering or suspecting her, they might speak out. They're listening to us all 24/7. They're listening to me right now. So let's say hypothetically I am that teacher. If I'm going on the internet and I start Googling what really happened at Sandy Hook, and I am that teacher who was in that classroom, they're going to be like, okay, we got to do something about this teacher. And don't act like that doesn't happen. Don't act like it doesn't happen. Remember and I can't, there have been so many of these incidents, I can't even remember them all. There was an incident where Obama went to an emergency room and he actually posed in a picture with some nurses who took care of people who were allegedly hurt in an incident. One of these psyops, I can't even honestly sort them out. It was a little while back. I'm thinking Sandy Hook, but I could be wrong. He posed in a picture with, well, one of those nurses suddenly came up dead. What happened to William Rodriguez? William Rodriguez after 9/11. He decided to spit up dead. It almost doesn't matter if people like me or some of you speak out because we weren't there. People will easily discredit or discount what we say. But when somebody who was there, who they foisted into the public limelight as the teacher who saved all these kids, if she were to come out and say, you know what, I'm not sure what really happened here. Maybe this was fake. Oh, no, that can't be allowed. I want to take a look at that video that Anthony had up. Okay, so here you see that she's the blonde. Here's the private security. All right, I'm going to fast forward through some of this. And he fast forwards through it too.
So we just have to wait till they're done.
They should be on the floor.
Where they're eating. So we just have to wait till they're done. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Right now.
So they're still zooming in on her. People are coming up talking to her, but you see the security guy always right on top of her.
Oh, right on top of her. You got the video? Keep it pulling her down. I know, I'm just looking around like I'm not looking at my camera.
So when did it happen in this country that people who make the news have to have private security everywhere they go? When did that happen? She wasn't the shooter. She was the hero. Allegedly, she was the hero. Why does she need private security? Now I'm going to take it towards the end so you can see them work towards confronting Anthony. This is her leaving in the vehicle, and here still is the private security right on top of her. And we don't even know that that's private security. For all you know, that's Secret Service. Claims to be working for the college. We don't know. He refused to say and walked away. Now, remember what we're talking about here. We're talking about psychological operations. This woman was hailed as a hero during a known psychological operation.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pause it here to make this point. No one who has looked into Sandy Hook could possibly maintain that Sandy Hook was real. It was fake, and it was staged. And this woman's hailed as the hero, but she's got bodyguards.
Barbie?
I'm talking to my partner. Hey, are you security?
I am. Who are you guys?
I'm press. Are you security? I'm
From where? What press are you?
WARC. Are you security?
Private security?
You're private security here?
He works here. He's official security.
Are you from this area?
I'm from the college.
You're from the college? And were you hired? Were you hired?
Leave property.
Why? What did I do wrong? I'm just asking.
It's private property.
Oh.
And I have an event going on right now.
Am I bothering anybody?
Yeah, you're on private property.
Am I bothering anybody?
Buddy,
So you're private security, and you were hired by the college?
I work for the college.
You work for the college? And were you hired? My name's right there. Were you hired just to protect Caitlin tonight?
Now, the fact that this guy is leaning in and checking the name really indicates that he is more than college security. He wants to know who's interested in knowing about this woman who was hailed as a hero of the Sandy Hook psychological operation.
Have a good night. Were you hired just to protect Caitlin tonight?
Dave, she come back.
All right, ready? All right. Anthony Antonello here. I'm in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, where we just left the ceremony for the graduating class of Luzerne County Community College. I received the tip that the lady who reportedly saved a bunch of children at the Sandy Hook shooting was going to be the guest speaker here tonight. So I hurried up and came up here with my crew, and we saw somebody who appeared to be a bodyguard standing next to the stage, and I found it, a little bit odd that this person who's a national hero had a bodyguard, but I wanted to confirm it. I stayed around till the very end, and as you can see in the video, they made sure that nobody was getting near this lady. It turns out it wasn't a boyfriend or a husband. We got it on record that he admitted he was private security, and as soon as I asked him, were you hired to to protect Caitlin, he, good night, gentlemen. So I don't really know what's going on here, but what I can tell you is if you're a national hero who saved a bunch of children, what's without the secrecy? You know, I mean, to me, that raises a lot of red flags, and I don't see why you would even need private security guards for somebody who is, like I said, supposedly this national hero. So I don't know. I'm just trying to cover this the best I can, and I hope you all do the same. Anytime you get a tip, try to follow up on it, because as you've seen, there was nobody else out here tonight. So if you're new to my work, make sure you subscribe. I'll keep doing my best to try to bring you the truth, and that's all I have for this one. Anthony Antonello, and I am out.
Thank you for tuning into Truth Broadcast Network and welcome to the Nightly News. During this broadcast, it is especially important to see the evidence being presented, so try to watch the Nightly News at www.truthbroadcastnetwork.com.
Moral culpability. What does this mean? The determination of who is ultimately at fault or deserving of blame. Again, this is a legitimate and real concept. There is fault. There is blame. We got to get over this new age nonsense that nobody's at fault, nobody's to blame. You should never say, hey, you shouldn't have done that. That caused a lot of chaos and trauma for other people. You're not to blame. It just happened. No, wrong. The people who did the behavior are to blame. Who carried out the Holocaust in Germany? The people who followed their orders to do it. That's who carried it out. Order followers is the answer. Who carried out the purge of political dissidents in Soviet Russia? Order followers. And they're always in the form of police. Why do you think they call a totalitarian system a police state? Why don't they call it a banker state? How come they don't call it a politician state? What about a lawyer state? How about a judge state? Why not call it any of those things? You want to know why? Because none of those people are ultimately responsible for bringing that condition into manifestation through their behavior. They're the order givers. The order followers carry out their commands and through their behavior make that condition a reality. That's why it's called a police state. Because every police state that has ever existed has always been created by police who follow their orders because they don't want to take responsibility and think for themselves and know the difference between right and wrong for themselves like an adult. Instead, I want to be a child who obeys daddy because I have daddy issues. All right? And that's what it's really about, folks. We're going to get to that. There is such a thing as blame for the commission of actions which have resulted in harm or loss to others. This is what culpable means. It comes from the Latin culpa, meaning fault or blame. It means at fault or deserving of blame. Now, who's more morally culpable? The order giver or the order follower? And please recognize I've underlined and capitalized the term more. I'm not telling you the order givers are not morally culpable. They are. That's not the question. Are any of these people morally culpable is not my question. My question is, look at the full question. Who is more morally culpable? The order giver or the order follower? Always. Always. At all times and places. At all times and places. I put this meme up on Facebook, and I got some hate back for it. Okay? People don't want to hear this. Like I said, I'm not here to be popular to make friends. I'm here to tell people what the truth actually is, and they have to accept it or reject it on their own. I put this meme up, I made this meme and put it up on Facebook, and it had politicians on the left that said, my actions, underlined and capitalized, didn't cause that. And then there were some soldiers or Marines, whatever they are, order followers on the right side, and they're also saying the same statement. My actions didn't cause that. And then at the bottom, I just put this question. Oh, I'm sorry. Looks like, oh, I'm sorry. At the top, I put this question. Who is lying and who is telling the truth? So who's lying here? And if people can't see, I hope that they can see this horrific picture. This is the result of, bombings that took place in the Middle East around Iraq. And it's a father carrying his dead child in his arms. Okay? Maybe if bombs were raining down on our children, we might think differently about going in and waging imperialism on other nations. I don't know. Maybe we might think differently about it. Right? But when it happens to somebody else's child, that's okay. That's done in the name of freedom. Okay? Well, who caused this? Did they cause it? No, they didn't cause it. They are not the actual cause of this. Because you know what all they did? They signed some pieces of paper, wearing their expensive suits, okay? And they told these guys, they said, well, you're under our orders now. Go and bomb these people. And you know what these people did? Say, yes, sir, and go and drop the bombs. And fire off the ammunition. Okay? These are the people whose actions create things like this. Not these people. All they're doing is speaking into somebody else's ear. All they've done is speech. Speech, not actions. See, again, really look. My actions didn't cause that. Yes, it is. If these people are saying my actions didn't cause that, they're lying. Very, very, very painful and difficult thing for people to comprehend and accept. I'm not telling you shouldn't feel bad hearing this, but I'm telling you it's true.
You're expecting me?
Yes, I'm expecting you.
What's your
come off my property, off my property, please. Hey? You come off my property.
Why is that?
Because you've not been invited onto it.
Is it yours or is it Bolton at Homes?
Doesn't matter, I rent it. I've got legal tenancy.
Well, let's see how much longer that lasts, pal, shall we?
Right, go on.
Because your attitude's not very good to
No,
start
I've just
with,
asked you to leave my property, that's all I've said to you.
Right.
Yeah? Can I help you?
What's going on with this fellow over the road?
What's going on with this fellow over the road? This fellow's come over to me twice and had words. So what's the problem?
Have you made a threat to him?
No, I've not made a threat to him,
You
no.
made a threat to damage his windows?
No, I've not.
Have you not?
No, I've not.
Right, well that's a criminal offence.
Is it? I do believe it is, but I've not made a threat to him.
What have you said to him then?
Not said nothing to him. He's called me over and tried to explain about it last night.
What have you said to him then?
I've told him to leave me alone and go away.
Leave you alone and go away?
Yes.
Alright. This will go further.
Will it?
I'm speaking to the council.
Right, that's
I believe
fair.
your son's been involved in playing games in the football and causing damage?
No.
No?
No. And I've got witnesses to prove that.
Have you? Do you want to tell me who they are?
No, I don't want you to tell you who they are.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Have a good day then.
Thank you. See you in a bit.
I'm not going anywhere.
I don't need to go anywhere. I'm on my own property.
Right. We'll be speaking about this again.
No worries. Name and number? No numbers showing. No numbers showing. Just for the record, no numbers showing. No numbers showing.
What is it? Stop running it.
No, I'm sorry, mate, but I can't see your numbers. You've not even proved any ID to me.
Hold on.
Where's your identity card?
You want to see it?
Yes, I want to see your identity card.
On the grounds of what?
On the grounds that I'm allowed to.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. You've got to prove who you are.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I'm not searching you. You take that out of my face.
No, I'm allowed to video record you.
Are you?
Yes, I am. By law.
What's the law?
Doesn't matter what the law is. You should know the law. You should tell me the law.
You're making me up. Why are you shaking for?
Because I'm cold.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You should go in then.
No. I'm on my own property. I don't have to do anything
You're
you say.
on Bolton Homes property.
No, I'm on my own
Are
property.
You the tenant?
Yes, I'm the tenant.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Let's see how much longer.
Pardon? Are you threatening me?
No.
Are you threatening me?
I'm going to get evidence against you and your family to get you evicted.
Are you?
Yeah.
Is that a threat?
Oh, it's what I'll do. It's my job.
Is that right.
Get it out.
Right.
You're putting your hand right
no,
in my
no, I'm not
face.
putting my hand in your face. I am actually still on my
right
lawn.
there in my face,
I am
like
still on my lawn. Do not touch me. Do not
Don't
come
put
near
your
me.
hand in my face again.
Right.
Gary Howard, 6536.
PC constable, or is that a police officer?
Mind your language with me.
Constable. Constable.
Constable.
Constable. That's how I speak.
Is that?
Yes.
Don't swear at me, son.
I didn't swear at you. Don't threaten me. And you will be getting reported now for assault.
Assault?
For assault. I am still on my property.
I'm happy with you there. You had your hand right in my face.
No, I didn't. You do not assault anybody.
Go on.
Right?
We'll make you threat.
I'm not making no threats. It's your job to protect the public.
That's what I'm doing.
And am I not public? I'm not threatened no 70-year-old man. You've come and asked me a question. Pardon? I'm not in your face. I am still on my property.
That's why I'm not putting my hand up to
right? You assaulted me.
No,
I will be putting a complaint with the video, and your video will be on YouTube.
Well done.
Okay.
Well done.
See you later, Mr. Officer.
See how much you are.
Pardon? Is that a threat?
No, I'm telling you.
Is that a threat?
I'll get the evidence against you.
You get the evidence against me for what? Antisocial behaviour. For what? For what reason? What have I done?
That's what I'll do all the time.
You'll do it all the time. So no, that's harassment.
All the time.
Right? No, that is harassment. No, that is harassment, Mr. Howard. Yes, it is, Mr. Howard. I am aware of my rights.
Go on, then go speak to your solicitor.
I will be speaking to my solicitor along with this video, right? And I will be putting in where you get done for assault. Okay, Mr. Howard. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Enjoy your day. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you for tuning into Truth Broadcast Network and welcome to the Nightly News. During this broadcast, it is especially important to see the evidence being presented, so try to watch the Nightly News at www.truthbroadcastnetwork.com.
It's Wednesday, May 28th, and here's some of the news beyond the headlines. A convoy belonging to chemical weapons experts was attacked in Syria while on its way to investigate alleged chlorine gas use. The Syrian government said the fact-finding team was trying to reach a village in Hama, where a 10-hour ceasefire would allow it to carry out its work. The team later released a statement saying they were safe. Rebels say the military has dropped barrel bombs of the gas from helicopters over the last few months, a claim the government denies. President Bashar al-Assad agreed last year to hand over the country's entire chemical weapons stockpile after hundreds of people were killed in a sarin gas attack near Damascus. An Iranian judge wants Facebook founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg to answer questions about mobile applications WhatsApp and Instagram. According to Iranian media, the judge summoned Zuckerberg over complaints the Facebook-owned apps violate the privacy of Iranian users. Lucky for him, though, there's no extradition treaty between the US and Iran, so the summons can't actually be enforced. America's highest court decided on Tuesday that states can't use an IQ score of 70 as a strict cutoff for execution. Florida had upheld the death sentence of a man who tested at 71, but the Supreme Court argued that the state had to apply a margin of error, and that modern medical guidelines don't use IQ scores as the only measure of intellectual ability. It's the first decision to fine-tune a 2002 ruling which held that executing mentally disabled people violated the Eighth Amendment against cruel and unusual punishment. Greenpeace activists boarded an oil drilling rig in the Norwegian Arctic on Tuesday to try to stop exploration plans in the far north. But because the rig is in international waters, Norwegian police say they can't do anything about it until drilling begins, after which they could claim they were protecting national interests. The environmental group says the drilling threatens Norway's Bear Island, an uninhabited wildlife sanctuary which is home to rare species. Check out the Vice News YouTube channel for more original reporting and documentaries from around the world.
I think people have this idea that it's the far right versus the far left.
It's a very broad kind of resistance against them. It's not just specific anti-fascist groups. With their policies, it's violence against us. It's violence against all of my friends who might be homosexual or just a different skin color.
Review time! And let me show you how stupid these people are. The same people that just staged this Elliot Rodgers shooting are the same people who staged Sandy Hook. The same jokers who staged the Lax shooting. The same jokers who staged the FedEx shooting. The same jokers who staged the Fort Hood shooting. And it continues on and on. What we got here, we get them trying to frame Sandy Hook truthers. Sandy Hook heartache. Thief steals memorial signs. First of all, no Sandy Hook truther, that's what they call us. No Sandy Hook truther is going to go over here and steal a sign. This ugly, ridiculous Illuminati sign with the kid doing the eye sign like that. Nobody's going to steal that ugly piece of crap and place it in our own home. We know that if we do something like that, it's just going to make us look bad. And we don't want to give you guys any chance to make yourself look any better or any more chances for those family members to ask for donations, which is exactly what they did. Look at this guy throwing a finger sign up. A fake truther. Wow, these guys are so pathetic. It's the same stuff they do every time. Then they get caught. You can see this video here. Sandy Hook creating the fake truther. Jokers done got exposed. What else we got here? I want y'all to see this. Listen to this guy.
But in fairness to me,
actors,
I think I can be both emotional and rational at the same time.
Oh, he really believed that.
Martinez is a veteran,
and I'm tired of these fake sellout reporters. Ugh.
Own guns, but wants to know why a mentally unstable man legally.
How do y'all listen to these people? Why they always gotta talk? A mentally unstable man. It's too much.
Own 3 semi-automatic handguns and hundreds of rounds.
Where is the leadership? Where are the friggin' politicians that will stand?
He talking about politics already.
Stand up and say, we need to do this. We're going to do something. Those gutless bastards have done nothing. And
faking, man.
My son died because of it.
Uh-oh.
It's outrageous. Absolutely.
You outrageous.
Absolutely outrageous.
You're acting outrageous.
He's talking about Newtown, Connecticut.
And this is exactly why I continually expose Sandy Hook, because they keep bringing it up.
20 children, 6 adults gunned down at Sandy Hook Elementary. President Obama pushed for tougher federal gun control laws, expanded background checks. That failed in the Senate, despite huge public support.
My kid died because nobody responded to what occurred at Sandy Hook. Those parents lost little kids. It's bad enough that I lost my 20-year-old, but I had 20 years with my son.
This man just came out of left field talking about Sandy Hook. That happened December 14, 2012. Didn't really happen. It was a hoax. But what the heck is man talking about this? My child died, but at least I had 20 years. You ain't thinking about the children. I had a dream last night about the children. They came up to me. You know what they told me? They said we were supposed to be the future. Now they never gonna have a future.
I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children laughter remind us how we used to be.
That's all I ever have. But those people lost their children at 6 and 7 years old.
20 children, 6 educators.
How do you think they feel? And who's talking to them now?
What you talking about? How you think they feel?
Who's doing anything for them now?
This is supposed to be so stupid. So we talking about gun control, just as expected. Look at this. It's time to revive the gun control debate. And let me tell you something. There ain't no debates when it comes to these shootings, especially Sandy Hook and this Elliot Rogers shooting. No debates. No talk about mental health either. It was a fake shooting. And let's look at common sense. This man talking about we need to pass gun control laws. Let's see here. We in California. Let's see. 10 states with the strictest gun laws. Pennsylvania, number 10. Illinois, number 9. Rhode Island, number 8. Maryland, number 7. Hawaii, number 6. Connecticut, number 5. Oh, that's Sandy Hook. Fake jokers. 4, New York. 3, Massachusetts. 2, New Jersey. And it's rough up there. Number 1, California. Well, ain't that something? You already got the strictest gun laws in the country. How does that work out for you? Well, California has strictest gun laws, yet ranks 13th for gun murders. And then let's just see how the gun control works. Well, I don't think the bad guys care about that type of stuff. Let's see. North Carolina restaurant with no guns allowed sign robbed at gunpoint. I thought the sign would stop them from going in there with the guns. No. You see, they knew nobody in there had guns to defend themselves. So that's why they went up there and robbed them at gunpoint. You have to understand, this is all a part of the New World Order agenda. Now, implementing this gun control is not going to bring about a New World Order tomorrow, but this is a long-term plan.
Thank you for tuning into Truth Broadcast Network and welcome to the Nightly News. During this broadcast, it is especially important to see the evidence being presented, so try to watch the Nightly News at www.truthbroadcastnetwork.com.
Alright guys, it's been a while since we did any science on Truth Loader, but I thought you might like this, so here goes. This is Google's new self-driving car. Not a modified Prius, or Prius depending on where you live, a custom car, custom built by Google. And it only has one button, which says stop or start. No pedals, no steering wheel. Or at least it won't have those things eventually. The early versions actually do, because of road traffic laws, which means that the driver has to be able to step in if they need to. But eventually it'll just be you, a sat-nav, a big red button marked go, and the open highway, which you'll be cruising along at an astonishing 25 miles an hour, which for our international audience is 40 kilometers per hour, which is pretty slow. And you'll notice that the cars are also ridiculously cute, in a sort of Japanese, slightly creepy way. But there's actually a reason for this. See, traditionally self-driving cars look terrifying. A mess of wires and whirring balls stuck on top of a stock car, which makes it look just a flux capacitor away from an 80s sci-fi film. And that scares people. These are the cute faces of self-driving cars. They're designed to be slow and pretty so that skeptics can begin to trust the machines with their lives. That said, these cars are very basic. They are, after all, just prototypes and lack creature comforts or luxury. They don't even have 4 seats, but then they can drive themselves, so, you know, swings and roundabouts. And wow, can they drive themselves? Sensor networks mean they have no blind spots. Even in heavy congestion, they can sense the movement of objects hundreds of meters away and plan their movements accordingly. They can park. If there's a space, they will find it. Google plans to build 100 of these prototypes, with early examples having pedals and steering wheels just to be safe, and later more advanced models doing away with them once they've received state approval. The first cars are set to become operational over the summer, with a Californian test scheme starting a couple of years later. And along with the 100 self-driving cars Volvo is planning on introducing to parts of Gothenburg in Sweden in the next couple of years, and promises from Nissan of an autonomous car by 2020, the age of traffic jams, accidents and drink driving could be coming to an end. I love my car, I really do, but I also love these cars.
U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry has labeled intelligence leaker Edward Snowden a fugitive from justice who should man up and return home. Mr. Kerry added that if Mr. Snowden, 30, believes in America, he should trust the American system of justice. His comments come in the wake of an interview with NBC in which Mr. Snowden said he sought asylum in Russia because the U.S. revoked his passport. Mr. Snowden also described himself as a trained spy, not a low-level analyst. A patriot would not run away, Mr. Kerry said on Wednesday. If Mr. Snowden wants to come back to the United States, we'll have him on a flight today. Mr. Kerry also called the former National Security Agency contractor confused, adding this is a man who has done great damage to his country. Harvesting data. The Secretary of State's comments come just hours before Mr. Snowden's interview with NBC anchor Brian Williams is set to air. Portions of the interview released earlier show Mr. Snowden claim he was trained as a spy who worked undercover overseas for the CIA and NSA. But he described himself as a technical expert who did not recruit agents. "What I do is I put systems to work for the US," he said. "And I've done that at all levels, from the bottom on the ground all the way to the top." Now, the government might deny these things. They might frame it in certain ways and say, "Oh well, you know, he's a low-level analyst." When Mr. Snowden fled the US in May 2013, he had been working as a technician for Booz Allen, a giant government contractor for the NSA. Last year, he fed a trove of secret NSA documents to news outlets including The Washington Post and The Guardian. Among other things, the leaks detailed the NSA's practice of harvesting data on millions of telephone calls made in the US and around the world, and revealed the agency had snooped on foreign leaders. The revelations have sparked a debate in the US over the appropriate role of the NSA and the extent to which it should be authorized to conduct such broad surveillance. President Barack Obama has asked Congress to rein in the program by barring the NSA from storing phone call data on its own and to require it to seek a court order to access telecom companies' records. Last week, the U.S. House passed such legislation, sending it to the U.S. Senate.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of News in 2 Minutes, bringing you the news that you need to know every day. Let's begin. Scientists with NASA are confirming that a number of advanced instruments that will coordinate with NOAA's first geostationary operational environmental satellite have been fully integrated as space watchers wait for the project's full deployment, in hopes that it will give newly detailed information on coronal mass ejections, solar flares, and other space weather phenomenons that can disrupt communication satellites and in strong cases can directly affect life on Earth. The U.S. State Department has issued a travel advisory to the nation of Thailand as reports show that truckloads of military servicemen are being deployed throughout the nation to forcefully disrupt and impede planned anti-coup protests around the country. We've seen word throughout local security channels that the army is seeking to crack down on protests after political figures within all provinces of the nation were told to prepare for violent anti-government protests, as well as the growing chance of martial law and strictly imposed curfews in the coming days. Officials have released damning emails that they say appear to show misrepresentation over the steps that Snowden took to discuss his disagreement with dictatorship-like surveillance. Critics of the citizen spying program that continues to this day say that the public should not forget that Edward Snowden continues to be the only paid employee of a government agency that has come forward with evidence proving the surveillance techniques that seek to see into citizens' everyday lives in support of an ongoing war on terrorism. Infectious disease experts are researching the possibility of a genetic predisposition to the symptoms surrounding the MERS coronavirus, as research shows that the nation of Iran is reporting its first death from the disease and warning all returning citizens with flu-like symptoms to seek immediate medical care where they can be evaluated for the contraction of the Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome. Economists are warning that falling figures of the U.S. economy for the first quarter of 2014 signal an ongoing issue with the world's inability to superficially inflate economic figures using continued stimulus programs, as researchers stress that the global economy may be nearing a pivotal point in government's ability to withhold the veil of stability in a declining global economy. And to wrap things up, scientists studying the novel H10N8 variation of the avian flu claim that current mutations do not pose an epidemic risk, but that continued observation for possible mutations must be noted. Researchers are warning that species of plants and animals are becoming extinct at alarming levels, increasing the chance that a sixth mass extinction may be happening at this time. And a 5.3 in New Zealand, followed by a growing number of aftershocks around the Dominican Republic, completes today's Quake Watch. And that's it for this episode of News in 2 Minutes. Check back tomorrow for more news that the aware need the most. This week's News in 2 Minutes is brought to you by SHTFplan.com, where even the officials go for news, and SQMetals.com for all your precious metal needs.
Thank you for tuning into Truth Broadcast Network and welcome to the Nightly News. During this broadcast it is especially important to see the evidence being presented, so try to watch the Nightly News at www.truthbroadcastnetwork.com.
Just another heads up here, guys. It looks like new information is coming out in regards to a memo that has been published in this is in regards to a 2010 Pentagon directive on military support to civilian authorities, and it details the president's power to use the military against civilians. Now, this directive contains non-controversial provisions on support to civilian fire and emergency services, special events, and domestic use of the Army Corps of Engineers. Now, this is all to be put forth using unarmed drones as well in operations against domestic unrest. So, here within lies all of the details on what the president plans to do when domestic unrest arises in this country, no matter how or when. So this is a lengthy read. I'm going to leave a link. You guys can read the whole article, but you will see that this pretty much outlines his self-given power by executive power to do as he pleases and to draw up these plans, put them into place, and here you don't hear about them till years later. This is from 2010, here it is 2014, and we're feeling the effects of it. So just wanted to point it out that within this directive, it does outline his plans to use the military and unarmed drones. They say unarmed, but I can guarantee you the way these guys are going, that'll change. I'll leave a link in the description box. It's been Dabu7. Eyes open.